see, देखो, just because there will be an abuse of the law, that does not mean that there should be no law. So law का abuse is a very different aspect, but actually who is the victim of that particular act, that is to be taken into consideration at large.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of DNLU podcast. Today we have Gautam Gupta sir with us, and we're going to deal on the aspect of procedural law and how to ace it. Sir, we are honored with your presence and thank you for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you, Ashutosh.
Yes. And sir, can we start this podcast with some of your stories of your college time? I mean, so that you can share some of your glimpses of your college days. How is it and how you spent your college days? Yes.
See, I did my graduation from Bharati Vidyapit, Pune, and such a wonderful place with a lot of experience where I had both academic as well as professional, and other way around also with respect to sports also. So, and then I pursued my LLM from National Law School of University, Bangalore. Therein also I had a very different experience. So coming from a traditional university, then going to a national university, so there was quite a blend of a difference of approach when I reached there. But yes, being a student and when I was there, so yes, one has to go through all, and yes, learned a lot there also. The blending of both a traditional law school and a national university was there, and still it is there with me, so which is there.
Yes sir. Sir, आपने जो LLS से LLM ऑनर्स किया था, सर वो बिजनेस तो ऑनर्स में किया था, but sir you are with us as a procedural law faculty, so how this change come you?
See, this question I always have to face. Ki, sir, your LLM is in business law, and then your area of expertise in ACADS is procedural law.
Yes.
See, what I would say in this regard is, see, it's about your interest which you have towards the particular subject. So before joining academics also, so I was very interested to a procedural law. So business law, yes, I have specialization in business law also, but my interest majorly was with respect to procedural law, basic law, because what I have observed is ki you don't find people who are very much interested in teaching procedural law also. But for me, it was always been very interesting. So when I joined ACADS in 2014, so from till then onwards, I have been assigned procedural law subjects, maybe because others are not taking. So as they are not interested, but as well as I'm enjoying this subject since my graduation itself. And the major motivation for this subject came from my dean in Bharati Vidyapit, because he used to take us CPC classes. So the way he has taken CPC, the interest which I have inculcated in CPC, and with other procedural laws which sir has taught at that time to us, so I was very inclined toward procedural law.
No, so we can see your passion in your teachings also. The way you teach us procedural law, and the way the teachings, the discussion takes place in our classroom is example of your dedication and your passion toward procedural law, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So, sir, with this, so the important question which regard to procedural law is that, sir, because procedural law इतना बड़ा होता है, इतना लंबा होता है, इतने सारी procedures involve होती है, CPC, CRPC, evidence, बहुत सारे nuances होते हैं. तो sir, how much it's important for a law student, and why we should read it? Why college or why curriculum emphasize so much on procedural law aspects?
See, one thing I would say is कि देखिए, आपके मन में पहले तो एक fear पहले जनरेट कर दिया जाता है कि procedural law मतलब नहीं होना है. तो when this fear is already being generated, तो आप जब procedural law में आते हो तो आपका already एक दिमाग किसी तरह और inclined होता है.
Yes.
And see, what I would say is कि these are very basic subjects which one should be very aware of. It's not only taking it as a subject. क्योंकि this thing is there in your, if you see in a very proper sense, these things are there in your day-to-day affairs. तो आप बाकी जो अगर आप subject के perspective से भी देखोगे, so procedural law is being there in all the subject which is being there.
Yes.
Like, see, if you talk of any specialized subject also, like company law or any other law, what you will find is all nuances of procedural law there itself. Though technical sense में procedural law is not being applicable, but still the rules of procedure which you can see, they are being applicable in all the subjects, though they are being special tribunals and so strict application नहीं है, but application है. And when the basic, in this regard, when it is being very clear, like if you refer to the aspect of arbitration also, अगर आपने arbitration proceedings देखी हो तो arbitration proceedings may be examination and cross का the cross is being done, not in a stricter sense. So taking it from that perspective कि when you see CPC, अब civil law का domain इतना vast है, earlier everything would come under civil law itself, and that particular procedure with respect to civil law. Similarly, when you're talking of criminal law, CRPC and evidence, so they are so interrelated with each other. So when you're discussing these subjects also, see, I always try. I don't know whether I was able to do it or not, whether I succeed or not in that particular case. Ki when you're taking the subject, you should always connect all the other subjects also which are being there into the same, so that the interconnection between these provisions, which though initially it becomes difficult to understand, but when you come into the aspect of practice, or when you come to the aspect of understanding certain things with respect to the procedure also, then in that case that really helps you to understand कि हाँ, the procedure which is being followed, whether that procedure which is with respect to a law also, not necessarily law, but with respect to the procedure which can be applicable anywhere, whether it is appropriate or not. So that is why we talk of this aspect of principle of natural justice and the principle of rule of law. So, procedure is one of the very important thing with respect to every aspect. See, a simple aspect what I would say is, leave the subject with respect to the procedure law. Just think of when you are making an application at one particular office itself. So you have to go, or if you are going to a bank also, then also you have to go through the entire procedure.
Yes.
So the aspect of procedure is very wide. Essence comes from these aspects because we all are law students, so the essence come from these subjects.
सर एक और जो इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आता है जो बाकी सब बच्चे मतलब हमने भी फेस करी है, हमने हमारे दोस्तों से पीयर ग्रुप में सोचा है कि सर देयर आर 3 मेजर एम्प्लॉयमेंट रिसोर्सेज आफ्टर ग्रेजुएशन. द फर्स्ट इज़ आइदर यू गो फॉर जुडिशरी, या फिर आप लिटिगेशन में जाते हैं, या फिर आप फर्म्स में प्लेस होना चाहते हैं. तो सर जो लोग या फिर जो बच्चे जो स्टूडेंट्स फॉर्म की तरफ ज़्यादा मोटिवेटेड होते हैं, उनका ये आर्ग्यूमेंट होता है कि ये प्रोसीजरल लॉ हमारे कुछ काम में नहीं आएगा. तो सर हाउ फार द स्टेटमेंट इज़ ट्रू, और वेदर इट्स ट्रू और नॉट?
अब देखो, जैसे अभी मैंने आपसे अभी थोड़ी देर पहले मैंने आपसे एक बात अभी ये बताई कि प्रोसीजरल लॉ आप किस सेंस में देख रहे हो. अगर आप जो बच्चे फॉर्म्स में भी जाते हैं, फॉर्म्स में डिफरेंट नेचर का वर्क है, राइट. वेटिंग इज़ देयर, सम कॉर्पोरेट लिटिगेशन इज़ ऑल्सो देयर, सम अदर नेचर ऑफ वर्क इज़ देयर, IPR इज़ ऑल्सो देयर, ठीक है. इफ़ यू रीड, टैक्सेशन इज़ ऑल्सो देयर. दिस अगर आप उनको पढ़ोगे तो यू विल फाइंड दैट द लॉ इटसेल्फ इज़ प्रोवाइडिंग विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द प्रोसीजर. अगर आपने कंपनी लॉ भी देखा हो तो कंपनी लॉ इज़ फुल ऑफ प्रोसीजर. इफ़ यू टॉक ऑफ IPR, सो दैट प्रोसीजर दो इट इज़ नॉट कमिंग फ्रॉम, जैसे एक माइंडसेट है कि दैट प्रोसीजर इज़ कमिंग फ्रॉम CPC, CRPC, राइट. तो CPC, CRPC इज़ नॉट द ओनली प्रोसीजर विच इज़ बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड इन द लॉ. Procedure is in those subjects also which is being laid down, those specialized, but it is already there. तो ये माइंडसेट है कि हाँ सिर्फ CPC, CRPC है, बाकी प्रोसीजर कहीं फॉलो नहीं होगा. IPR में आप देखो, पेटेंटिंग को देखो,
यस,
टैक्सेशन में देखो, तो द प्रोसीजर इज ऑलरेडी बीइंग लेड डाउन.
यस.
So the aspect of procedure is wide. Why we need to limit it to the aspect of only CPC, CRPC?
It is sir. हमें कंसिडर करना चाहिए था, जो मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था बस. सर बहुत सारी चीज़ें आती है, जैसे जैसे आपने बताया था प्रोसीजरल लॉ. तो प्रोसीजरल लॉ सर हमने जब इंटर्नशिप्स पर जाते हैं, हम कोर्स में जब काम देखते हैं, तो सर जो उसका थ्योरेटिकल एस्पेक्ट होता है और जो उसका प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट होता है, देयर इज़ वाइड डिफरेंस बिटवीन द थ्योरी एंड द प्रैक्टिकल. तो सर आई मीन how why is this so much of a difference between the theory and practical, and sir what is the con?
See, there are various reasons. See, when we talk of the aspect of theory, अब एक कोई थ्योरी है, थ्योरी के एप्लीकेशन में कुछ चेंजेस हो सकते हैं, थ्योरी के एप्लीकेशन को अप्लाई करने में कुछ चीज़ें हो सकती हैं. सो दैट इज़ द प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट विच कम्स व्हेन यू अप्रोच द पर्टिकुलर फोरम. आप जिस फोरम में भी जाएंगे, जिस फोरम को आप जा रहे हैं, तो जिस आप फोरम में जा रहे हो तो उस फोरम के भी खुद के कुछ प्रोसीजर्स होते हैं, जिन प्रोसीजर्स को देखा जाता है. एंड इफ़ यू रेफर टू दिस पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट, स्टेट टू स्टेट में भी डिफरेंस होता है कुछ प्रोसीजर्स में. हाँ, बट what I would say one thing is, when you talk of this aspect of the academics with respect to the courts, with respect to the forums, so application is of that law only over there.
Yes, sir.
But it has become a convention. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो लॉ का एप्लीकेशन नहीं है, लॉ का एप्लीकेशन है, बट जब उसका एप्लीकेशन है तो जो कन्वेंशनल प्रैक्टिसेस जो बन गई हैं उनके एप्लीकेशन में, जैसे आप किसी काउंसिल से पूछोगे या किसी से पूछोगे कि क्या प्रोसीजर है, हो सकता है कि हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि जो आपके बेयर हैट में लिखा हुआ है, अच्छा ये प्रोसीजर ऐसे ऐसे फॉलो हो रहा है.
Yes.
बट
सर जैसे एक एग्जांपल, जैसे सीपीसी में एडजर्नमेंट का जो एग्जांपल है कि सीपीसी ज़्यादा एडजर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड नहीं करता है, बट प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट सबको पता है कितनी एडजर्नमेंट होती है. सर जैसे सीपीसी चार्ज फ्रेमिंग के टाइम पर सीआरपीसी सीपीसी दोनों बहुत मतलब सीआरपीसी स्पेशली अगर चार्जेस की बात करें तो बहुत इलेबरेट प्रोसीजर बताता है कि आपको ये चीज़ें देखनी होती है, ये चीज़ें जज को या मजिस्ट्रेट को चार्ज फ्रेम करते देखना पड़ता होगा. बट सर हम देखते हैं चार्ज फ्रेमिंग कितने मतलब सुपरफिशियली हो जाती है एक दिन में. द प्रोसेस ऑफ डिस्चार्ज सर, दिस आर वेरी रेयरली टू फाउंड इन.
नहीं, जैसे अभी आपने एडजर्नमेंट की बात की, देखो नाउ एज वी आर रीडिंग द लॉ वी ऑल्सो लुक एट द लॉ, हाउ टू रीड द लॉ ऑल्सो. अब वॉट एवर इज बीइंग गिवन इन द लॉ, the interpretation can be done by the apex court, by the Supreme Court. Yes. So Supreme Court has various times have referred ki how to read the law and how the law should be read. Like अब shall का interpretation में की तरह करना चाहिए, बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बहुत जगह ऐसा कहा है, रिटन स्टेटमेंट्स में भी ऐसा कहा है, डायरेक्टिव होना चाहिए, डायरेक्टरी होना चाहिए. ठीक है. सिमिलरली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू इन पर्टिकुलर जो आप एडजर्नमेंट्स की बात करते हैं, तो एडजर्नमेंट्स में भी beyond 3 adjournments as per the law which is being given, beyond 3 adjournments can be given but sufficient reasons are to be given. और वहाँ पे भी आप देखेंगे कि जहाँ adjournments unnecessary लिए जा रहे हैं तो कोर्ट्स जो आजकल हैं वो कॉस्ट की इम्पोजिशन बहुत ज़्यादा कर दे रही हैं. सो अभी भी लॉ वही है, द इंटेंट ऑफ द लेजिस्लेचर इज़ दैट ओनली. बट अगेन अब आप सोचो, आप किसी को प्रोसीजरल एस्पेक्ट में अगर आप देखो, आप किसी को 3 एडजर्नमेंट में रोक दो, उनके पास सफिशिएंट रीजंस हैं, उसके बाद वो अगर एडजर्नमेंट नहीं ले सकता है, सो डोंट यू थिंक अगेन यू आर गोइंग इनटू द अनदर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ नॉट गिविंग जस्टिस टू द पर्टिकुलर पर्सन.
सो वो स्टेटमेंट है ना कि जस्टिस शुड नॉट ओनली बी डन बट सीन्स टू बी,
जस्टिस शुड सीन टू बी डन. यस
यस सर. विथ सर एक अब वापस से सर आपकी कॉलेजेस पर आते हैं. तो सर मतलब प्रोसीजरल लॉ का सर it's very vast, it's very tough. We all know that, so we all can agree on this fact कि it's very vast and it's very tough to understand and tough to remember. So how did you crack the procedural law aspect? आप मतलब आपने क्या पढ़ा था, कैसे पढ़ा था कि आपको इसमें इतना एक्सपर्टीज हासिल?
देखो इसमें what I would say is कि the subject which creates interest in you is never tough. और जो सब्जेक्ट आपको इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट नहीं करता है वो टफ होता है. जैसे मैंने एक बात की ना कि आप जब प्रोसीजर लॉ पढ़ने आते हो तो पहले आपको इतना बता दिया जाता है कि प्रोसीजर लॉ आ गया. इन पर्टिकुलर सीपीसी के लिए बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको सीपीसी आज भी अगर आप उनसे पूछोगे, ग्रेजुएट्स हैं, उनको सीपीसी आज भी घबराहट है कि सीपीसी में व्हाट इज देयर अंडर सीपीसी एंड विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू सीआरपीसी. सो द मोर इंटरेस्ट यू हैव टुवर्ड्स द सब्जेक्ट एंड द मोर यू रीड द सब्जेक्ट, तो दैट एक्चुअली मेक्स यू टू अंडरस्टैंड इट ऑल्सो. जब आपका इंटरेस्ट होता है तो आप उसके बारे में 5 चीज़ें और पढ़ते हो, 4 चीज़ें और समझते हो.
Yes.
So that is an edge if you have interest towards the subject.
So what is your strategy in reading procedural law? Or, for example, if you read CRPC, if you read CPC, so how do you jot down or how do you crack those things?
No, for my understanding or for making you all understand?
For both of us, in both the ways.
See, in both the ways, for my understanding with respect to reading the law is कि one should first read the law first. And after reading the law, after understanding the law for the first time, then one should go into the aspect of referring it to an authoritative textbook, not just a general material which is available online and so. So there are very good authors who have written onto the same. And then what is the settled position of the law? कि recently the apex court, the Supreme Court or the high courts कि how they are reading the law at present. So because see, law is very dynamic. The interpretation keeps on, I will not say changing, but the interpretation keeps on being decided in a different way. So with respect to case basis also. तो इसमें द रीसेंट जजमेंट्स हैव टू बी टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन कि लास्ट टाइम सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो भी रेटरेट किया है प्रोविज़न के लिए, उसमें रीसेंट कोर्ट का स्टैंड क्या है. और हाँ, reading the law is very important. I majorly what I would say is, for me also today also, the reading of the provision, understanding the provision is very essential. And for you all, yes, for you all what I would say is ki the discussions which I try to bring for you all is, I try to bring out things which are issue based, so that when the issues are coming before you, so that is why I sometimes, as I have also taught you, so sometimes when things are being brought, I ask you to read the provision also.
Yes.
And see, and it's the provisions are, there are 484 provisions in CRPC, right? So we can't go through the entire provisions, but yes, the important provisions which are there, that should be read with the recent judgment. जैसे आप, if you refer to the aspect of just investigation, if you refer to the aspect of just FIR, so it's not there in the legislation what powers the magistrate has, but it has come through the interpretations of the court.
So court is numerous time उन्होंने interpret करा था, वो बताया था कि
Yes.
क्या क्या duties होने चाहिए क्या.
So the law is developing and it develops with lot of interpretations.
Yes sir, it is sir. Sir, I mean just on a lighter note sir, सर क्योंकि हमने इस प्रोसीजरल लॉ पढ़ा है, आप डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, वो भी इतना भारी वर्क का, तो सर व्हाट डू यू डू असाइड, इफ यू कीप असाइड द लॉ, अगर हम लॉ हटा दें आपके जहन से या फिर आपके दिमाग से, सर हाउ डू यू रिक्रिएट योरसेल्फ, व्हाट इज़ योर थिंग which helps you, which keeps you motivated all the time?
You see, if otherwise, if you go into my, I think, personal life, how I am being motivated. So yes, see, music is a very essential part for me, which keeps me relaxed, and some sports activities which I do sometimes. So that keeps me relaxed in a sense when it is very needed.
Sir, if you allow it, sir, can you share some of your best song with us? For us?
Not on this platform. I think song. I not on this platform. I think song is the right thing which I should actually.
Okay. No problem, sir. Thank you. Sir, another major aspect, sir. So we see as of now कि बहुत सारे मतलब criminal specific criminal law आए हैं वाइट कॉलर क्राइम से डील करने के लिए, सोशो इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंस से डील करने के लिए. तो सर एज वी हैव सीन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट है, NDPS है, PMLA है, सर द प्रोसीजर इज एट वेरिएंस विद CRPC. सर व्हाई इज इट सो, ये इतना अलग क्यों है CRPC से?
See again, in this aspect again, see your question also gives the answer also. See, these are special legislations, and if you go to the intent of the legislature in this regard, so with the intent the particular special legislation has come. So with respect to NDPS again, with respect to Prevention of Corruption Act, with respect to Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, so the intention of the legislature, looking at the time that yes, the legislation is required, so the legislation is being passed by the parliament, right? So that is to be achieved. So that is why if you read those provisions also under the special legislation, they are only providing with respect to some changes in the procedure, and entirely the general procedure of the CRPC is applicable, but some changes are there, not all, but that is required to achieve the objective of the intent of the legislature for which the act is being passed.
It is, yes sir, it's important sir.
With respect to, if you look at drugs, with respect if you look at corruption, with look at the aspect of economic crimes, now it's the time when such legislation should come up and their objective should be achieved.
Yes sir, but again with जब stringent आप एक्ट की बात करते हैं, stringent provisions की बात करते हैं, तो एक क्वेश्चन ये उठ के आता है कि there are chances कि वो जो एक्ट है या फिर वो जो provisions है उसका गलत इस्तेमाल हो सकता है. तो सर what should I mean,
see, देखो, just because there will be an abuse of the law, that does not mean that there should be no law.
yes.
So law का abuse is a very different aspect, but actually who is the victim of that particular act, that is to be taken into consideration at large.
No sir, I mean my question is कि आपन किस तरीके से उस एक्ट की जो एसेंस है, उसकी सोल है, उसको इंटैक्ट रख सकते हैं, एक इंडिविजुअल की, ह्यूमन की जो डिग्निटी है या फिर जो उसका राइट है उसको हैम्पर करे बिना अपन जो प्रोसीजर है वो फॉलो कर सकते हैं?
सी प्रोसीजर, अगर आप जनरल प्रोसीजर देखो, अगर आप स्पेशल एक्ट का प्रोसीजर भी देखो, तो प्रोसीजर इज ऑलरेडी बीइंग देयर इन दिस कि सी अगर इफ यू रेफर टू द एस्पेक्ट ऑफ आर्टिकल 21 ऑल्सो, राइट? So Article 21 is clearly providing with respect to personal life and liberty, and that too which is procedure which is being established by law. तो already law is protecting the rights.
Yes.
और इसीलिए अगर अरेस्ट है तो बेल की प्रोविजंस हैं, और जहाँ रिक्वायर्ड है कि what should be the at present the legislation should be in this regard. अब if you look at the landmark judgment of Arnesh Kumar, तो Arnesh Kumar has given the guidelines in this regard.
Yes. DK Basu guidelines.
DK Basu and Arnesh Kumar 2014 with respect to the Dowry Provision Act also, with respect to the
Satendra Kumar and Tariq.
yes, with respect to the aspect of the offences which are punishable less than 7 years. तो वो अपना ऑब्जेक्टिव अचीव करने के लिए दैट इज बीइंग डन. तो राइट्स तो इसीलिए तो वी आर गोइंग टू द एस्पेक्ट ऑफ फेयर ट्रायल. That can be fair procedure also. That can be before, that can be during investigation, during trial. So court has the responsibility, and the court has to exercise discretion.
Yes. So court is always act as a north star. Sir, another question. Sir, मेरी से procedural law की बात करें तो the students, those who are dedicated towards preparation of judiciary, sir, it is very hard for them to remember all this provision. तो sir, what tips or what is your strategy और जो आप share कर सकते हैं कि how to crack it, मतलब आप उसको अच्छे से अपने जहन में बिठा सकते हैं?
See, I always say, and I will always be saying, कि never learn a law.
Yes.
Never mug up.
So, could you elaborate? Never learn a law.
Yes. The more you read, see, judiciary is a different preparation, and with respect to understanding law is different preparation. So you don't need to learn it, mug up. You need to read it again and again, again and again. And if you read authoritative textbook, which are good textbooks, the language you develop. So when you develop the language, you are reading the law again and again. So then in that case, the essentials of the provision are already there in your mind. So when the essentials of the provisions are there in your mind, then and if your legal language is good, then automatically you write the law which is there with the essentials. But if you start learning the law, then if you learn something, then how much you will learn? So that is the problem which comes, because you cannot learn everything.
Yes, yes, it is. Sir, just we are on the verge of end of this session. So, sir, just last question है मेरा. Sir, again the question of socio-economic offense or the special legislature, what you call. तो सिर्फ ED है या फिर आप CBI की बात करें तो सर they have very wide power, unchecked power. I mean, that's what alleged by various law scholars and various leaders from the political party. And sir, uske the amendment which in PML Act, which was brought up in 2019, it was also widely criticized by various law luminaries. So sir, but in the case of Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary sir, so sir, what is your view about it?
See, what I would say is when the legislation is there and the procedure is already there, and there also there is not absolutely what the enforcement agencies can do. Again, they are, whatever they do, that is being brought before the court itself. That is why, see, the aspect is the court has a duty to protect the rights of the people. So even with respect to PMLA, even with respect to any other legislation, when again, why, for what purpose PMLA is being passed? So that is also to be taken into consideration in this regard. And if you take the again I say, if you take the objective of the act to be taken into consideration, then the court has to balance the rights of the accused with the society at large also. So with respect to that balance, the enforcement agencies are also working, and they don't have unfettered powers.
Yes. So sir, just in the concluding remarks, sir, what tips or what are some suggestions that you can share with us for our purposes?
See, what I would say is be in the habit of reading. And nowadays, the major problem which is coming up is you're not in the habit of writing. So be in the habit of reading them, and the more you read the law, the more you read the text. And not only law, you should go through the newspaper daily. You should follow the newspapers. You should follow the affairs of the state itself, and try to relate with the subjects which are there with you, and have a discussions for the same. So that will really help you, so that you are not just getting your degree which is to be done. See, law is not just a degree which is being done. After doing your law, you will be doing some kind of service to the society.
Yes.
So for that, you should know the society also.
Yes. What is the social cause?
Yes.
Yes. So, sir, I think with this, so thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ashutosh, and the team, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.